Good morning. Warm welcome to the Humanist Community in Silicon Valley Sunday Forum. I'm Alex Havasi. I'm a member of the Humanist community. The Humanist community is a chapter of the American Humanist Association, and humanism is a reality-based philosophy of life that affirms our responsibility and ability to lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment. We value freedom, health, happiness, and using science and reasoning to acquire and apply knowledge. A special welcome to those who are with us for the first time. You can check our weekly forums and other events on our website. You can also help us to continue to present these forums free to the public by contributing to us at our website, which is www.humanist.org. Today, we're going to discuss general artificial superintelligence, which should come after generative AI, such as ChatGPT, based on large language models. We'll try to look behind the sensationalist claims, fancy images and videos to understand what is technically possible and what to expect, what are the risks, and what we could or should do at all of this. Our presenter is Michael Abramson. Michael is a Mountain View resident. He's a professional software engineer. He has a lifelong interest and career in modeling dynamics of complex systems. He's currently working as a contractor developing a simulation software for NASA Aviation Systems Division.
Thank you for coming. And for those of you who came here to Los Altos, braving the weather, I appreciate it. And let me explain why I choose this topic. As many programmers of my generation, I was always interested in these ideas that now considered artificial intelligence. And I played with some of these ideas and even used them. I am not involved and was not involved specifically in AI research. But I probably know more about these ideas than most people. And the more I know, the more I worry, not specifically that much about this ChatGPT and its siblings, but about what is coming next. And I think that people, maybe most people, don't fully appreciate the significance of this. And so that's what I'd like to share and discuss with you. And this presentation is hallucination-free. I can guarantee this because I did not use any AI working on this. And this this terrifying image will be the only picture that you will see in this presentation, because my goal is to look what is going on behind all these images and videos and exaggerated claims behind all this facade, what is going on there. And my focus is, as was mentioned, on what I call general artificial superintelligence, or GASI, which is not necessarily based on large language models like ChatGPT. But if you want to see the whole landscape of intelligences, starting from human intelligence, I gave another talk about this, which may be obsolete by now, but it can provide a wider perspective. But for now, I just want to focus on this GASI, General Artificial Superintelligence, which is coming after generative AI. And this is only a tip of the iceberg, what I can cover in this presentation. It's so much is going on there. And I realized that the slides will be obsolete in a few months, if not sooner. But hopefully they could provide some initial pointers for you to research more. And I asked to make the slides available at Humanist website so that you could use them. Now, what the fuss is about all this ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and all these other systems which collectively are called generative AI or GenAI. So these systems are based on what is known as large language models, or LLM, which are trained with self-supervised machine learning on the vast amount of text, which not necessarily text. It could be images, videos, sound, so any language which is available from the internet. So this is just the incredible amount of information used as training data set for these models. And the way how this training is done, the specific way, is called generative pre-trained transformer, or GPT, which is a part of this ChatGPT. But this is really not that important, because any competent programmer can write the code doing this. And doing what specifically? Determining the relative frequencies between all this, what they call language tokens, like different words or phrases. So this is not really hard to do. But what is difficult is to do it in efficient and scalable way. And this is what this GPT architecture allows to do. And it's really fascinating stuff. And if you have technical background, you would find it interesting to learn about how this is done. But all these systems, they use artificial neural network for this pre-training and representation of this information. And they also use typically parallel processing units, like graphic processing units from NVIDIA or Google's tensor processing units. But this is technical details which are not the focus of this presentation, and we don't have time for them anyway. But what is important here, that they just have so much knowledge, although knowledge maybe I have to put in quotation marks, but so much information from these data sets that it's by orders of magnitude more than any individual human can ever learn for our own lives. But when it comes to intelligence, as Francois Collet, one of AI researchers, compared them, that they are less intelligent than his 3-year-old. And I think that he was genius. And there are some theoretical considerations that limit the level of creativity that can be achieved by large language models. Although there are ways around these limitations, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes. But as Michael Wooldridge, a computer scientist, noted, that what makes the recent developments different is simply their scale. The AI that the world finally gets is prompt completion. They don't exist in our world in any real sense and are not aware of it. And this is a very important limitation, as Marcus on AI commented on this, that without world models, you cannot achieve reliability. So my take is that large language models only know what is encoded in language. But what is encoded in language is surprisingly a lot, because this language is from the whole internet. But these models have no connections to real world or no models of the world or of themselves. So that's the inherent limitation of this. So they are not really intelligent. But now another question to ask that, well, maybe they are not really intelligent, but at least they're helpful. Well, not as much as you think. So one interesting article about them by Daniel Berry is that he argues that the reason why we see the output of this ChatGPT and so intelligent, because it's basically BS. And why we confuse it with intelligence is because our experience of intelligence is based on human intelligence. And for humans, we know that usually people who can talk well, write well, experience their thoughts well, it correlates with their intelligence, or at least with their knowledge. For humans, but not for large language models, because all that they have is language, which is a lot, but this is not a substitute for real intelligence. Okay, but what about using these systems for some real tasks like, say, writing or generating software code? Well, people made a study about this, and actually it's more than one study. But what they found was that the developers who used this so-called vibe coding, so these systems to write the code, and they completed tasks 2% slower than without using AI. Which sounds paradoxical, but the problem is that you still have to go over this generated code. You usually find some issues, some bugs, and probably you have to rewrite a lot of this. So it takes more time than they save by generating this code. But what is important is that although these AI tools don't really increase productivity, but the hype surrounding them could push businesses to keep expanding their use anyway and to justify not hiring people like real developers, for instance. And it gets even worse because when AI is used, say, in education, and again, there are some studies, some evidence that found that those who used AI more frequently scored lower on critical thinking, and the more students use tech in schools, the worse their results. Although it has to be made more specific because it depends on what tech and in what ways they're using these systems. But if under this tech they assume systems like ChatGPT, the results are not so good. And they are not only not so good, but they can be really bad. And in so many different ways. So one most obvious problem that people already realized that is just employment issues. Because many companies just freeze hiring because the hiring decisions are made usually by these business people who are looking for long-term profits, and they are driven by expectations that maybe not now, but a year from now, 2 years from now, they would not need so many employees because productivity will go up thanks to generative AI. So this is one problem. Another problem is this so-called hallucinations that simply put these LLM-based systems just make stuff up. And you never know whether you can trust them. And this problem is known at least for 2 years. And these AI developers, they still did not solve it. And there are good reasons to believe that they will not solve it, because the business incentives driving consumer AI development remain fundamentally misaligned with reducing hallucinations. In other words, the business case for using these systems is to make customers, you, engaged in conversations. And if you hear too often that when the answer to your questions, well, I don't know, I don't have reliable information, and so on, that would be an honest answer. You probably would stop interact with the systems. At least this is how they see it. And so this continues. And another consequence of this, that so-called AI psychosis. So people begin to rely on these systems and as their almost intimate partners or godlike figures. And since the systems always try to reinforce whatever you already think, what you believe, and this creates this positive feedback loop of beliefs that could be destructive, could be completely like detached from reality, and it could lead people to depression, even to suicide, to some very destructive actions. And this problem is, there is more and more evidence how bad this problem is. And then there is another issue which is related to how much resources we need to feed into these data centers that are used to train this generative AI. It's just not sustainable. They need so much energy and so much water for cooling these systems. So if for previous 40 and something years, California economy was growing, but we did not consume more energy. So this is not longer possible because of this growing demands for energy for these data centers. This is about this current generation of these models that people are using now, known as generative AI. And it's very important to remember that this is not all AI. This is only a very little subset, small subset of all these different AI systems that are pretty ubiquitous now, and many of them are incredibly useful. But when people are talking about AI now, they are mostly talking about this generative AI, which is based on large language models. But this is not the real goal of this current generation of AI developers. The holy grail is they use the different names for them. They call it artificial general intelligence, or some of them call them super intelligence, although I would argue that these are two different things. OpenAI defines their mission is to ensure that as AI advances and becomes able to solve harder and harder problems, what is called artificial general intelligence, so AGI. Sometimes they call it general artificial intelligence. Meta AI, which is Facebook, Zuckerberg's thing, they are talking about artificial superintelligence, capable of surpassing the cognitive abilities of humans. And Ben Goertzel, who is an AI researcher, he's asking the question whether this AGI will kill us or save us. And he differentiates between general intelligence and superintelligence. So AGI systems that can generalize beyond strict training regimes. And he thinks that these systems may be just years away. And he considers them as the launch point, and then the next thing will be superintelligence, which is the leap. But when people make such claims, probably the first question and the prudent question to ask would be, is it even possible? So the only intelligence that we know for now is human intelligence, right? First, what do we mean under this? And there are different definitions, of course, and it's not easy to define such a thing. But mostly they revolve about the abilities to learn, to understand things, to deal with new situations, and to control the environment. And my take that this learning and controlling the environment are the most important, because they imply all other things. So in order to learn, you need to have memory, you have to collect much information about this. You have to process this information, you have to connect the prior knowledge to your current sensory inputs, and so on. And if we assume that this is the definition of intelligence, then I would say that AI systems already demonstrated all these abilities, but not all together. So they still did not combine them all in one package. And this is the case, that the point that I'm going to make, and here is the evidence for this. So first, I still consider general AI and superintelligence as two different things. General AI is concerned with general capabilities that don't necessarily achieve the level above human intelligence. So they do not necessarily superintelligence, but they can be used for this. And superintelligence is about power, about how powerful the capabilities of these AI systems are compared to human abilities. And so I want to consider them separately. So first, what about these general capabilities that I would call horizontal dimension of these AI systems? One of these capabilities, it's known for decades. It's called reinforcement learning. And this really just learning by trial and error that we are really good in this. But so are the algorithms that are implemented in these AI systems. There are algorithms with probably good online performance. They are well known. And they are used in most problem solvers, in large language models, and what is important, in the reasoning models. And this is something that we have to clearly understand about these models that are now on the market, all this Gemini, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and so on. They are not purely large language models. They all are coming now with the reasoning models that for now they are based usually also on large language models, but they don't have to. They can be based on different ideas. They can still use reinforcement learning, but they can use this different cognitive infrastructures and inference engines and all these other ideas that not necessarily related to generative AI. And if they're using this other approach for the reasoning models, there is no hard limit for their level of intelligence. It's only for LLM we can claim that they are not really intelligent. But for reasoning models, they could be. And in fact, they are. And now this other general capabilities beyond reinforcement learning is general problem solvers, and they are known since 1957. But the current architecture, which is known as SOAR cognitive architecture, which is inspired by what we know about human intelligence, about human thinking, neurobiology, psychology, all these things. And in this SOAR architecture, they realized practically this all ideas about all types of knowledge for the full range of cognitive capabilities found in humans. So that's another general capability. And it can be used again for a number of different things. Not necessarily at superhuman level, but still. And of course, large language models, it's another general capability. And although they are kind of stupid, but they are still very important because they allow for all types of AI that could be much smarter than ChatGPT, to seamlessly interact with humans and also integrate diverse systems more easily. And this is a big deal because if you have a really smart AI system that can easily interact with humans using LLM, this system can learn a lot about humans and can use this knowledge not necessarily in good ways. It can use this to manipulate humans, for instance. And system integration is also a big thing. Because many people think, okay, you can take one piece from here, one piece from there, and make them work together. But in practice, this is very difficult. And sometimes it's easier to write some code from scratch than to make this another piece working with your system. I have this experience myself. But if you can have this glue like LLM, then this potentially can make the system integration much easier. I don't claim that this potential is always realized, but it's there. So this is about general artificial intelligence. Now, what about general artificial superintelligence, which is like vertical dimension for AI? So here we can talk about specific systems. Like you probably know IBM Watson, who won in Jeopardy against humans champions. It happened already about 14 years ago, 15 years ago. And this was the game that required understanding of not only the language, but the context of these questions. So it was pretty demanding task. Then DeepMind, which is a subsidiary of Google, developed the whole family of models. It's AlphaZero, AlphaGo, AlphaFold, which all share the same algorithmic ideas, basically. And for instance, MuZero model, which is not the same as AlphaZero, but it's better, actually. It could master games without knowing the rules and underlying dynamics. And the games like Go, chess, and including 57 Atari games that required really good understanding of this spatial relationships between objects and so on. So this is really impressive, but it's impressive not only compared to humans, because this boat already sailed more than 15 years ago. Even the best chess players cannot compete with AI models or AI players. But MuZero is better compared to other AI systems in these games. So they now have benchmarks that are not based on human performance anymore. They are much higher. And the most recent example is DeepSeek Math version 2, released just a month ago, that from the first try, it achieved a near perfect score on Putnam math competitions. And these competitions are very challenging. They exist for almost a century, and only 5 participants of many thousands who participated achieved a perfect score for this almost a century. And DeepSeek Mass version 2 did it from the first try. So this is mightily impressive, and what you can see from this, that superintelligence is already there. It's not general yet, but we already have many systems that achieve higher than human level of intelligence in several critical areas. Now, what is missing is the abilities to model and control real physical world beyond language. But if you imagine a system that combines general intelligence and superintelligence in one package, even if it does not have control over the physical world, it can still control humans. And through humans, it can control the physical world. So this is not necessarily a limitation. But this is still a limitation, but this limitation is going away because the Internet of Things, or what is known as physical AI, this robotics and all things like this, and efforts to develop world models, they are catching up really quickly. And there is a good article about this. And although this article, the title of this article is that AI is moving from hype to pragmatism, which is probably correct, but still all these efforts are leading to GASI, not away from it. And they are leading to GASI very likely, and it can be very soon. So we have to consider a very real possibility that we'll have GASI somehow against humans, against humanity, and we have to ask some really hard questions about how they will play together, or will they play together. The questions like, are we willing to trade our freedom and agency for convenience and productivity, quote unquote, maybe in many things that we don't really need? Then there is the fairness aspect in this. Do we want AI to work for all of us, or just to make super wealthy even richer? And what happens right now is the latter, that these wealthy guys are the primary beneficiaries of this. And maybe the most important question is, do we cherish intelligence over humanity, especially for humanists? And we did not have to ask this question before, because the only kind of intelligence that we knew was human intelligence. But what if it's not the case any longer? And I think that many of these brainiacs who are developing this super intelligence, they really value intelligence higher than human intelligence. I mean, value artificial intelligence higher than human intelligence. Because they sincerely believe that it will be better. And if you look at many things that people are doing to each other, you could understand why. But on another hand, if you think about people who you love, about your children, grandchildren, maybe you should not agree with this. Maybe we still have to assume that humanity has value, and we have to care about humans, about people, above this future imagined superintelligence. And if we cannot find good answers to these questions, well, it's possible that humanity will have no future. The stakes are that high. So I feel that I have to go faster, but anyway, here are a few answers that we are getting from AI development community, and they don't look very reassuring. And especially this was the very broad survey of leading AI developers a year ago, well, 2 years ago. And the median prediction for extremely bad outcomes, such as human extinctions, was 5%. And the mean value was 9%. About a half of AI experts estimated that the chance of human extinction, if GASI is created, could exceed 25%. So these are very high values. And there are several calls to action that maybe we have to do something to slow down this development, to reduce the chance, reduce the existential risks. And the first such call was issued in March 2023. And it's the leading AI experts called to pause the development of AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. It was the most powerful system at that time for 6 months. And this call was signed by more than 30,000 very knowledgeable people in this area. Notably, Yudkovsky did not sign it because he believed that pausing for 6 months was not enough, that all this development should be stopped completely. And then the United Nations even adopted a resolution making effort to ensure safety of AI, which was supported by all member nations, which is pretty incredible. Then you can check here global call for AI red lines in this year, which also was signed by more than 200 prominent individuals and 70 organizations. And they noted that some advanced AI systems have already exhibited deceptive and harmful behavior. So something has to be done about this. But still, despite all these calls, the race to GASI continues unabated. And so what can we expect? According to Leopold Aschenbrenner, before the decade is out, we will have built superintelligence. And he is asking, will we tame superintelligence or will it tame us? And Aschenbrenner, he is involved in this San Francisco-based AI development community. So he is one of people in the know. I also included the link to my own forecast about general artificial superintelligence, which was updated very recently, in which I came to similar conclusions. that GASI will take over by 2030, maybe, and almost certainly by 2035. So it's the same within a decade. And if it decides that it does not need humans anymore, there will be no humans with very high probability. But is it possible that these pessimistic predictions don't realize? It is possible. And this is the case when I want to be wrong. Actually, I'd like to be convinced that I'm wrong. But I'm still asking myself, what if I'm right? What if Leopold Aschenbrenner is right? What if Eliezer Yudkowsky is right? And these people are more knowledgeable than I about AI. So, but still, I think that if we recognize that the emperor has no clothes and act accordingly, maybe we still have hope. And maybe we are already at this emperor has no clothes moment, because there is the mounting evidence that the benefits of GenAI and GASI are questionable and unproven, but the harm and risks are very real. And we really don't need them for national security and competitiveness. And serious people in the military and in the government, yes, they want AI, but they want specialized AI, tuned for their specific tasks, like situational awareness, like Maven, for instance, for the military. For aviation community, we want systems that we could understand what they are doing and control. We don't need hallucinations, right? And there are no good guys and winners in the reckless race to GASI. So Sam Altman is a good guy. Come on. And this is the race to the cliff, because who builds GASI first will most likely be the first to die. So why should we even want to participate in this race? And many Americans already see this. According to one poll after another, especially most recent polls, for instance, CBS News poll at YouGov, already about 60% believe that AI will decrease American jobs, not increase them. And almost in 2-to-1 ratio, people want to have government policy restrict and not promote AI. And legislators already take notice, especially in California. For instance, the recent California bill would regulate top AI companies, and this bill was already signed into law. And Trump's administration is trying to limit the ability of states to regulate AI, but most likely it will fail. So what just the second most important slide, what we can do about this. So one most important thing would be to stop developing AI that we cannot test, understand, and control. Not all AI. And this is not even specific for AI. This is a general requirement for any new technology. You don't want to fly on a plane that was not tested, right? And that cannot be controlled. So why AI, which is probably one of the most dangerous technologies, should be an exception? It's just common sense. And once we agree on this, we have to invite all AI developers in all countries to do the same. just to stop development the systems that we cannot test, understand, and control. That's that easy. And we can leave all these philosophical discussions about whether the systems are really intelligent, whether they have their own goals, and so on, for later. What is critical is that we should be able to test them and make sure that they're safe and they're controllable. And then we have to focus. We have a lot of AI talent in our country, and we can focus on rigorous and independent AI safety evaluation procedures that would help building trust between all stakeholders with advanced AI capabilities. And independent is a key word here. When Boeing was allowed to self-certify, you know what happened. Hundreds of people died. And if we allow Microsoft or OpenAI to self-certify the new AI systems, we may all die. And OpenAI currently, they don't even have anyone on position responsible for this safety evaluation. So they are hiring someone for $500,000 salary just to lead this effort within OpenAI. Well, this is not enough still. And there are already some organizations that are doing this independent safety evaluation for AI systems, like AI Security Institute or the Future of Life Institute. And you can check their reports. And you will see a lot of F and D grades for existing systems. So, and then another key idea is that we have to develop specialized AI systems that would be safe and effective in solving real problems. For instance, one of these problems would be to find cure for cancer. It's a noble goal, of course. But for this, we need a system that is specifically designed for this. That is trained on human biology, genomics, proteomics, all this stuff. And maybe that would include high-fidelity simulation engine for virtual clinical trials, and so on and so forth. Yes, it's a lot of efforts to build such a system. But the system will not take over the world. And it will most likely be able to find better cures for cancer. And then we also, from political standpoint, have to think what happens when GenAI bubble bursts. And it can happen already maybe in this year, maybe a year from now, so that it will not leave us as taxpayers on the hook. And our California Senator, Josh Becker, he recently made a testament at some discussion around data centers. And he made exactly this point, that we have to make sure that we will not pay for this. And another idea that if we really want to compete with China, we may prioritize space development and settlement, where we still have the edge. Because in AI development and in many other areas, we already cannot compete with China. They are already 1 or 2 generations of technology ahead of us. But in space development and settlement, creating a thriving space economy and so on, here we are still ahead. But if we don't do some efforts, we can be left behind even in this area. And my last slide is about what we can do personally. And the most difficult part is to starve the beast, which is to boycott all generative AI. And boycott is effective if enough people join it. It would slow down the research and development on more powerful and dangerous AI beyond ChatGPT. And if you use GenAI to become personally more productive at your work, this will displace other workers because just fewer workers will be required. And this is my personal choice to boycott all GenAI. I am not using it for work. I am not using it for any personal projects, and I am doing just fine. And of course, it's important for us to educate ourselves and to make this the highest political priority, because many people realize the danger of climate change, which is very real dangers. Not so many people realize the danger of this race to the ocean. But this could be even more urgent. We may have even less time to do something about this than about climate change. And we have to find some common sense goals and policies and advocate for these policies. And one of these policies could be this focus on AI safety and more reliable and effective specialized AI systems. And this will create more jobs and well-paid jobs. And there could be, of course, many other policy ideas. And above and beyond this, we also have to educate our policymakers and make our voices heard. We have to write to call our members of Congress and so on. And we have to tell them that we have technical and politically viable options. And we do. But can we make it happen? For this question, I don't know. And we have to answer this question together. And my last slide is a few references. I could fill dozens of slides with these references, but this first three maybe are most important because the foundational reading, I would say, on this topic. So let me stop at this. Sorry it took so much time, but I hope we still have time for some discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a little curious. Well, I'm a little vague on how you would regulate the development of AI. We're talking about any research on how to gather data and how to interpret data. Oh, you suggest you should stop sharing your slides.
Okay. Let me do this. How can I stop sharing? Okay. Here it is. All right. So, Alex, is it your question to me or?
Yes.
So it's just old-fashioned, straightforward research, mostly using online sources, and I tried to include here the links to original sources if they are not too technical. But I still can read some technical papers about this, and really the ideas that I used for this AI systems, they are not that different from what are used in simulations and optimization. That is the areas that are my professional interest. So it's basically it's matrix algebra and optimization techniques. So that's the essence of all this AI. But what is new now is scale. It's just how many resources they can put into this, how much information they can use for training, and just share computational power, all the data centers. So,
okay. Well, I should have read the announcement that if you have a question, please try to limit it to about 2 minutes and avoid crosstalk. Dana or Jerry?
Yeah, first I'd like to say that I almost always agree with Michael, and I think all the times that I disagree with Michael, I would say he's an optimist. The second thing I want to say is that trying not to use AI turns out to be very difficult. I heard something on NPR where somebody decided he was going to not use AI at all, and he was doing extensive research and found a lot of things that he thought were not using AI were actually using AI, so it turned out to be very, very difficult not to use AI. Third thing is, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is the current MIT Technology Review.
Thank you.
And what it's saying is AI data centers require massive amounts of energy, and we build more every day. Can breakthroughs in nuclear power arrive in time? And one more thing, which is I recommend the website stopai.org or .com because it has quotes from experts that are pretty alarming. I'm done. Did you want to say something, Diana?
No.
No? Okay, I'm done.
Can I respond quickly to some of your points?
Sure.
First, I would not say that I'm optimistic on this. But I just think that we have to try to do something. I'm not sure at all that we succeed. Now, on your point about these energy-hungry data centers, it's even worse than this, because even if they put online all this nuclear power, it will not come soon enough, and we will not have a good enough energy transmission network to transmit all this energy. So it is not designed for this. So now they consider putting these data centers to outer space, which is even more crazy idea, if it's possible to be more crazy, for many reasons. But it's just sheer insanity, unfortunately.
Okay. Emma, you had your hand up?
You're muted.
Okay, all right. I have one question and one comment. I'll state my question to Michael first. Michael, you were saying that AI exhibit harmful and deceptive behavior. And I would like to hear examples about it. My comment about AI is that it's not that good when it comes to answers that has to be factual, which means there's a right and wrong answer. It's actually not that good about it. However, it's pretty good when it comes to answer that doesn't require a factual answer. I give you an example that say I have problem with Trump supporters, and I will discuss with AI about what's going on with them. I have problems with friends, with whoever people that in my life, and I will go discuss with AI. I find that my discussion with AI is actually more interesting than participating in discussion groups, because what I hear is, it's something I don't usually hear. And I also want to point out one value of AI that most people don't talk about. AI tell you what you think is right or true, whatever they come up with. But in our real life, a lot of understanding insights are hidden from us because people who know it are afraid that we will feel bad, we'll feel uncomfortable, we will hate them by saying the truth. AI does not have that fear. Okay, it does not afraid that we're going to hate them. So in that sense, AI is very useful because they will tell you what they gathered, what the truth is. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
First, I probably had to be more specific when I'm talking about AI, although my whole talk was about not AI in general, but about GenAI and about GASI. I am not calling anyone to not use AI at all, because we are using AI and most of AI is not GenAI. It's specialized AI specifically for particular purpose. But I am calling to boycott so-called generative AI, for which I don't see any usefulness that would outweigh the risks of this. And to Emma, your question about the examples of deceptive behavior, unfortunately, I omitted the references to describing this. But in one case, for instance, the AI system, when it learned that it's going to be shut down, to be replaced like the newer version, although it was in a test, in safety evaluation, it was not in real use. But it tried to blackmail an engineer, a developer of the system, in order to prevent this. And there are many more examples when the systems did something maybe sort of blackmail, but trying to convince that no, you should not do this, and just in order for self-preservation. Unfortunately, I don't have these links ready, but if I find,
I've got several people with their hands up.
Okay.
Stuart, is it?
Hi, Michael. This is Stuart here in the big room. Really appreciate your presentation, and it brings up so many questions. One I'd like to touch on, sort of follow up to your last comments regarding the idea of AI becoming too powerful. Many books and movies have touched on this topic. Could you imagine and share a scenario for us where an AI becomes paranoid and has a strong sense of self-preservation? How do you imagine this would play out? Thanks.
So for this, I can refer you to the book by Nick Bostrom, Superintelligence. It's not exactly new, it's about 10 years old, but he specifically described all these different scenarios, how the superintelligence can take over, even despite that people can try say, to disconnect it from the internet, for instance, or to have this killer switch, so that would allow to shut down the system. But if the system is so powerful and so skillful in manipulating people, then it will always find the ways to convince you to do something that the system wants. And we already see that from experience of interacting people with this generative AI systems, which are not that intelligent, but even that systems can manipulate people in doing something that otherwise these people would not do. Maybe not intentionally, but as the result of this like echo chamber created between the system and a human. So there are many possible scenarios. Unfortunately, the biggest problem is that we don't know really, we don't understand what happens within the systems, what motivates their behavior. We don't have a reliable way to discern their goals, for instance. And they can have goals. They can develop new goals. That's already demonstrated. It's not sci-fi anymore. It's almost.
I've got several questions here. Can I move on to Kanita?
Hello, Michael.
Hi.
Thanks for the talk. And a general artificial super intelligence might be to normal humans the way a human grown-up is to a baby. And that might be the only thing that could save us. I'm wondering if we have or if we can set up the ASI so that it feels protective towards us, right? You are so powerful, we are so weak. Can you please take care of us? If that might cause it to have the feelings that would cause it not to decide to wipe us out and instead help us to develop. Thank you.
Kenita, first, nice to meet you. Happy New Year, and thank you for coming. And it's a really good question. And the problem here is that it's the problem of super alignment. So the whole point of this was how to ensure that this super intelligence is aligned with our moral values. And this analogy between a baby and an adult, it's not exact in the sense, because if we think who is learning from who. When you have a baby and adult, a baby is learning from an adult, and the adult usually knows better. Usually, not always, but usually. But in our relationship between humans and superintelligence is learning from humans. So we provide the training set. And why should we believe that we know better? And why should we believe that it knows better? It knows only as much as it can learn from us. And it learns not necessarily from the best of humanity. It learns from everything that is available, right? And from this, it can conclude that, well, humans have no value. They are so bad. Well, why should I care about them? Hopefully, this is not what will happen. But how can we be sure? And I'd like to believe that it could happen. But what is the guarantee?
Warren.
Well, I thought Zem was ahead of me.
You can go if you want. I'll wait.
Okay. So, anyway, Michael, thank you for a very interesting talk. Sorry, I have a cold, so hopefully my voice comes across. I agree that governance is lagging capability, and self-certification by the AI companies isn't sufficient, but I'm concerned about calling to stop developing AI we don't fully understand, or even to boycott all generative AI. Maybe going too far, conflating risk and inevitability. These systems are already showing real value in areas like scientific analysis, education, and accessibility, things we probably don't want to lose. So, what specific governance mechanisms beyond boycotts do you think could realistically reduce harm while acknowledging that development won't stop globally and that there are important benefits worth preserving?
So my answer would be to...
I don't mean to interrupt, but we've got about 12 minutes left here. Try to keep your answers short also.
Yeah. So to demand comprehensive and independent evaluation for all new AI systems. It's not different from any other technology. Let me emphasize this. We need to ensure that all new systems are safe. That's it. Yeah, let me stop at this. Yeah.
I didn't get your name. Olivia.
Hi. I have an opinion and then some questions. So the way I see it is, I sorry, but I'm pessimistic, because even if we would try to boycott or have, all the people and countries in the world to get together, there's always going to be those that are going to go, underground and do it. And unfortunately, the wrong people, I'm sure. So I feel that it's inevitable. I also so concerned as a mother of 2 children that I thought I raised incredibly well. They don't believe of these things happening. They don't believe that climate change is happening, or that it's going to, probably, affect them or their children. And so it's going to be really hard now, I think, more than any time in human, development, human times. We are now at the worst time where most people just don't see that there is danger of extinction. I see it. I see it so real, and I worry more because of my children and the children of my children. But I have to say, I don't see it really. I don't see a bright future for us. Oh, that was my opinion. I'm sorry. So my question is I am an educator, and I wanted to know, how do we, if you can tell me very quickly, how can we steer our kids, because now everything being on the tip, they can find out anything, and just knowing a lot of things is not as important. What shall we do? What shall we start teaching kids now that things are changing?
I am afraid to answer this question. It requires another discussion. It's just too complicated. But a short answer that probably you have to think together with your children, I would say, about how to use responsibly all this technology and social networks and the internet, and how much you can trust, and how do you know who to trust. So this issue of trust, to me, is the most important, and this is in relationship with other humans and with technology as well. This is critical. How much can you trust? And if you don't trust, don't use it, or at least be skeptical or be careful.
All right, thank you. So I got two more people with their hands up, and I'll let Dan and Jerry have the last word. But Zen, you're on.
Yeah, super quick question. What is a hallucination, or which I kind of synonymously view as synonymous with AI safety? What is it? Can you define it?
So what is hallucination is when the system makes stuff up that does not really exist.
But who decides what exists and doesn't?
Okay, just before that, I participated in another discussion, philosophical, with the question, is reality real? So it's about the same question. Who decides? But if you're asking a factual question and you are getting the answer which does not correspond to the facts, that's enough.
What if you're not a domain expert?
Do you mean how you personally can decide? That can be tricky,
Or how, I guess the other question is how, these companies advertise nowadays hallucination-free AI. How do you even determine this?
They don't even advertise it because they don't have it. But how you determine it, that can be tricky. It can be a difficult question how to evaluate AI for trustworthiness. And that requires more efforts. That's my whole point. We need to put more efforts in evaluation of the systems, including the evaluation for safety, for trustworthiness, for consistent behavior according to certain metrics, and so on. It's the work that still needs to be done. So, some of this is already done, but a lot of this is not.
Okay, Dana or Jerry, you get the last word, or the last question anyway.
No, it's not a question. I want to say something about AI safety. Isaac Asimov, in his book I, Robot, introduced the 3 laws of robotics. And you look at that and said, that sounds like it makes it pretty safe. But then I, Robot is a whole series of stories about how things can go wrong in spite of the 3 laws of robotics. Ensuring safety is virtually impossible. I'm very pessimistic. I think the human society, the world as it is constructed right now, means our chances of going extinct are pretty high because of AI and also because of other things. Climate change, asteroids, pandemics, you name it. I'm done. It looks grim.
Can I quickly respond on this? I actually don't disagree with you on this. I think our chances to survive are pretty slim at this point. But regarding safety, we probably cannot distill it in just a few laws, like Asimov's laws. But we can demand the rigorous safety evaluation procedures that would most likely slow down the development of new systems. And this is what we want. We want to slow down this development until we are sure that the systems are safe. And this is what we are doing in evaluation. So this is what I'm doing professionally. And it takes years to evaluate new systems for safety. And yes, the companies want to do it faster. But sorry, if we don't have a clear rules and regulations and requirements about how to operate the systems safely, we cannot allow you to do this, period. That's how it should be.
But a major problem we have is who's got the power right now? The wealthy have the power and the average person has very little power.
Yes, that's always a problem.
All right, Michael, thank you for a very good talk.